1 or 0 when calling this number. Please hang up and try your call again. Good morning, reporter.
Yeah, good morning. I was inquiring on that story of that missing man in Iron River, Michigan, the Caspian Pit. Is there any updates on that?
I'm going to put you through to the editor. I'm not sure. Just a minute.
Thank you.
Hi, it's Jerry.
Hi, Jerry. Yeah, I was inquiring as to the that Caspian Pit issue with the missing men. Has there been any updates on that, or anybody indicted or anything for that?
Specifically about the pit or about the case in general?
Oh, the case in general.
Yeah, I mean, it's as a matter of fact, I'm typing something up now. In late yesterday, the suspect they've arrested has been arraigned. She was caught in Kentucky, and they transported her here, and she was arraigned on, homicide charges, other charges. As far as the pit, they're not talking. Authorities aren't really talking too much about the investigation specifically right now because they're concerned about, enacting and executing a prosecution that wins. They don't want to release anything publicly too much about what they found and didn't find. I know that they have not publicly admitted to finding a body,
Right.
or bones or whatever, but that's pretty much where it stands.
Right. Yeah. So is the woman indicted? Is her last name Reagan too? Like, was she the wife?
No. Her last name is Cochran. They weren't married. This lady and her husband and Reagan had some kind of relationship of some kind. I don't know exactly what it was, whether they were at work or whatever. And they really, I've asked any number of times for more specifics, but the cops and the prosecution are being pretty tight-lipped until this all starts becoming public in the court appearances and so forth. There's rumors all over the place about various things, but
Well, what was her first name?
Kelly.
Kelly Cochran.
Yeah, she's from Maryville, which is northwest Indiana.
Oh, okay.
And she, from what the cops said, she left here around the time right after they kind of searched over there in March of last year, and she went back to Indiana, and then recently she had fled Indiana to Kentucky where they found her. And it took a while to get her back up here and extradited her here. In fact, we were waiting all day yesterday for them to contact us, but it didn't come until late in the afternoon when they got her here and brought her before the judge.
Yeah. Does she have an attorney?
Well, according to the press release they gave us, she has declined an attorney and wants to represent herself.
Huh. That's crazy.
With assistance from a public defender, the press release says so.
Oh, okay. Well, then she will get an attorney.
Yeah, she certainly could change her mind and do what she wants to do. I was waiting all day for her to be extradited here so I could go over to the arraignment. It happened so late in the day that we never got word, so I don't know exactly what she stated.
Right.
But that's what the press release came from the Iron River Police Department, so that's how they described it.
So the court didn't appoint her an attorney?
No, I think she has a right. I think they has a right to decline it.
Right.
They'll point it to her if she wants it, but it sounds to me like she declined that.
Right. Okay.
And now she's going to go through preliminary exam, probable cause, and there's going to be a competency trial to see, if she's or not.
Right. Did you get to see the Rochelle Pollock story on YouTube?
Oh, I did not know.
Okay, maybe you want to watch that, because I interviewed her at a news reporter in Ishpeming, Michigan, at Greg Peterson's apartment. Now he was a TV6 news reporter, TV Channel 3, WJMN, and ABC 10, and he was helping me in Marquette expose corruption in the Marquette County Courthouse, where I had been harassed by sheriff deputies for posting or filing motions and files in the proper court and I was falsely arrested a couple times. And so at any rate, I found out about Rochelle Pollock, whose mother is Vicky Vargovich, who worked at your, I think I
heard about this earlier.
Yeah. So anyway, Vicky has contacts, she said, that told her that a man was fishing in that pit and snagged a bag and reeled it in and found human remains in that bag, and then called the local police department there. And then they called in the feds, who searched the pit, and they found another body intact in a burn barrel.
Yeah, I've asked about that, and they've pretty much denied that.
Yeah. Well, the police, when the police are involved, because I was threatened by a police officer in Forsyth Township, Michigan, back in the 90s. And this particular police officer had threatened to chop me up and throw me out into the Everglades if I didn't give him the ownership papers for a pickup truck that I was selling. And there was a lady that was interested in purchasing my pickup truck. And I had gone to the police department, and they raced over there and, thinking that this pickup truck, why would this girl want all the VIN numbers off this pickup truck? Well, she was just trying to find out if the pickup truck, because I bought it in New Jersey, was for some reason they think, New Jersey, okay, New Jersey has a bad reputation. Well, everything matched on the title, but this police officer wanted my title, and I didn't want to give anyone my title. You know what I'm saying? So he threatened me, because that's the way police, when they commit crimes, because there's a lot of crooked police officers these days, and they know how to destroy evidence. So our theory is, when I went to the feds on the day that Christopher Regan and Todd Trudeau from Marquette went missing, I was threatened by the FBI. And because they had me listed as deceased in the 25th Circuit Court files in Marquette, Michigan, so they could steal my land, and I disclosed this to the police chief Frizzo in Iron River there. So at any rate, I went to the FBI office just before noon on October 14, 2014, and I disclosed to two FBI officers, and in fact they made me move all my metal, my phone, and everything out, and I went into this private room with them. And I said, look, they got me listed as deceased in the 25th Circuit Court file, so they can escheat my land to the state and sell it at the auction, because I defeated them in court, and they owe me a lot of money, the county treasurer and the state of Michigan. And one of the FBI officers complimented my file because it was nice and organized and quite a large file, and the other one said, well, if you put a lien on the sheriff, because I told him I won this huge counterclaim. He says, if you put a lien on the sheriff, we're going to harm you. I said, what do you mean? He says, well, we'll think of something. I said, well, I guess that's the end of the conversation, basically. He says, oh, we've had a lot of people like you in here, and that people who claim their rights of exemption under the Michigan law of exemptions for their homesteads. So at any rate, I left with a friend of mine, and he was driving, and we got out on the highway on 41. You've been to Marquette, and then we jumped off left on Washington Street, and in front of Shopko, all of a sudden a sheriff car zoomed up next to us and looked in the car, and I waved at him, and he waved back and zoomed off. And apparently the feds called the sheriff, just to find out, what car I was driving in or whatever. because I had been stalked on by them on several occasions. And we think that the local police in Marquette mistake Todd Trudeau for me, because they were stalking me and wanted to harm me, and I was threatened by the feds on that particular day. And we think that they harmed him, and all of a sudden there's been a big shuffling of police officers. There's a mass exodus of police officers, and it turns out that Captain Angeli from Marquette is the police chief. He's connected to Iron River. He knows about the Caspian Pit. He would have known where to toss a body, because apparently that's where his family's farm was and all that. And, you know, I've done a lot of research on this, a private investigation. Well, I had given the file, my file, to the captain, Wassey, who I know from my church in Marquette, Michigan, and I said, I want you to arrest the sheriff, because, you know, I've been falsely arrested by this deputy sheriff in the courthouse for filing paperwork in the proper court, and I'm listed as deceased. So I want you to, you know, do an investigation. This happened in Marquette, Michigan, and it turns out that that same captain wound up, I just found out from his mother at Walmart in Marquette that he moved to Missouri. Well, there was a call from Missouri claiming that somebody saw this Todd Trudeau on the website of a missing man, and that this party had talked to him down in Missouri and said he was looking for a carpool. Now, that was on TV6. So, I mean, this is heavy stuff, and it looks like there is a cover-up by law enforcement, because they don't want to disclose the fact that they found these bodies in that pit, according to Rochelle Pollock and Vicky Vargovich that used to work at your newspaper. So there's a link to Missouri in the call that was in February. Maybe it was last February or something like that. And so there's the link to Missouri in the Marquette City Police Department. And the other link to Iron River is the chief of police, who was over that captain who I gave this case file to, when I said, look, these crimes are being committed in your town. You need to arrest this deputy sheriff and the people who are claiming people are dead so they can steal their land.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you know, that I believe that Rochelle Pollock, she's from Iron River. Her mother worked there. That's a credible, your paper's credible, you know, for the people that were employed there or whatever. We believe them. So, you know.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I've heard some of this before, and you know, as the case here with the Reagan case unfolds, you know, I'll keep everything in mind. I do have to go to my staff meeting here right now, so I'll have to cut this short, but I appreciate the call.
Yeah, well, check out. I hope you watch her video. I'm going to call you back, and you know, go to the YouTube and go to Caspian Pit Cover Up. I'm on there with a whole bunch of links. You'll see a guy named Greg Peterson sitting there with a big coffee mug in an older apartment, and I'm interviewing him and Rochelle Pollock. Please watch that. Will you watch that?
If I have time, I'll give it, yes.
I mean, we're talking about two dead men and a woman who might be getting framed.
Sir, I'm sorry.
All right.
Have a good day.
Okay, bye-bye.